Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take material you're interested in, and while we really dig into it, to pull out the key stuff you need to know. Today, based on your request, we're plunging right into the world of my next life as a villainess. All routes lead to doom. We've looked through the info you sent over.
Yep, exactly. Our goal here is to give you a really solid grasp of what makes Villainous tick, why it's so much fun. Think of it as your quick guide to getting the series.
Right, so maybe you're just curious, or maybe you want to understand it a bit better.
Huh.
Our mission today, break down the core appeal of the characters, the clever ways it plays with the usual story rules. We're using the text provided as our main source here.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so let's start with the basic idea, the core premise.
Okay. So fundamentally, it's about this young, noble girl, Catarina Claes. She has an accident, hits her head, and bam, remembers her past life.
Okay.
She was like a normal high school kid in Japan who was obsessed with these otome games, you know, those romance simulation games.
Yeah, dating sims.
Right. And the huge twist is she realizes she's been reborn into her favorite game, Fortune Lover, but not as the heroine. She's the villainess.
The villainess.
Yeah.
So not the one who gets the happy ending with the love interest, but the character who, in the game, always ends up either exiled or worse.
Yeah, like actually dead. Every single route in the original game leads to doom for her character.
Wow. Okay. High stakes from the get-go.
Yeah.
And the interesting part is she doesn't just, roll over and accept this terrible fate.
Not at all. She decides she's going to use her knowledge of the game to actively avoid all those bad endings, those doom flags.
And these aren't just minor problems, right? They're actual game over situations she's trying to dodge. That's her whole motivation.
Exactly. And this is where that mix of genres you mentioned comes in. It gets really interesting.
Yeah, talk about that blend. It's not just one thing, is it?
No, it juggles quite a few things really well. There's romance, definitely. Comedy, lots of it. Slice of life stuff. And it's all wrapped up in this isekai parody shell.
So the romance part, it's kind of unique how that plays out, right?
Very unique, because basically every important character, male and female, ends up falling for Catarina.
Wait, male and female.
Yep. Which creates this, reverse-harem situation, but it feels different. It's got its own spin. We'll get into why later.
Okay, intriguing. And the comedy. You said there's a lot of
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
A huge part of the humor comes directly from Catarina herself. She is completely, utterly oblivious to all the romance happening around her.
like completely dense.
Unbelievably dense. She misinterprets everything. People are making these grand romantic gestures, and she's thinking, oh, they're just being friendly. Or, dodged another doom flag.
And doesn't she have those internal meetings?
Yes, the Catarina Council meetings inside her head. They're brilliant. It's her brainstorming ways to avoid disaster, usually focusing on the wrong things entirely while completely missing the romance signals. It's super charming.
That sounds great. Okay, so romance, comedy. What about the slice of life bit?
That provides the backdrop, really. We see their daily lives as nobles, going to school, farming, because Catarina loves farming.
Farming. A noble.
Yes. It's one of her countermeasures against exile, learning practical skills. So we see friendships developing, school festivals. It grounds the story. It makes the world feel lived in.
Gotcha. So it's not just constantly about the high-stakes plot points.
Right. And then there's the isekai parody layer. The show knows exactly what it is. It pokes fun at common tropes you see in stories about being transported to another world, and specifically tropes from otome games. It's very self-aware.
Okay, so it sounds like this blend is pretty key. How does that self-aware parody stuff impact things?
It adds a layer of cleverness, I think. It lets the show have fun with expectations, and it really allows the characters, especially Catarina, to break the mold. Maybe we should talk about the characters now, because they're so central.
Yeah, let's do that. Starting with Catarina Claes herself, the protagonist, the accidental villainess.
Right, so she has all these memories of being a regular Japanese teenager. That gives her this outsider perspective.
And personality-wise, what's she like beyond being dense?
Well, she's got this huge love for gardening, as I mentioned, and sweets, like absolutely obsessed with snacks. But her defining trait, maybe, is this tendency to catastrophize, to imagine the absolute worst-case scenario for everything.
Which probably fuels those internal meetings.
Totally. But mixed with that is this incredible, genuine kindness. And that's the crucial part. Her kindness, combined with her sort of chaotic energy trying to avoid doom, it accidentally messes up the game's script.
How so?
Instead of being the villainess who everyone hates, her actions inadvertently make everyone like her. The doom routes basically get rewritten into, well, love routes.
Wow. Okay, so her trying to save herself actually makes everyone fall for her. That's
ironic.
extremely.
Yeah.
Let's look at Jordo Stewart, the prince she's engaged to.
Prince Jordo, right. In the original game, he's one of the main guys who could exile her. Exactly. He's a primary doom flag. But in this version, because of Catarina's influence from a young age, he's different, he's charming, very intelligent, and he sees right through Catarina's eccentricities. He finds her fascinating.
So he's actually trying to win her over.
Oh, absolutely. But it's hilarious because she just doesn't get it. She thinks his smooth lines are just princely politeness or maybe even some kind of trap.
And you mentioned jealousy earlier.
Yes, Jordo can be quite possessive, subtly manipulative even. He sees all these other people getting close to Catarina, and while he keeps up his princely facade, you can tell he's trying to keep her tethered to him. It's played for laughs, but also adds a bit of an edge.
Interesting. Okay, who's next? Keith Claes, her adopted brother.
Yeah, Keith. He's a perfect example of Catarina's positive impact. In the game's original story, he's supposed to be kind of distant, maybe even resentful.
But not here.
No.
Yeah.
Because young Catarina, worried about her own doom, basically showers him with kindness and attention to try and, secure an ally. And it works too well. He becomes incredibly devoted to her.
Yeah. Devoted, like brotherly devoted.
Well, yes, but also definitely romantically devoted. He's very protective, gets jealous of the other guys, and often ends up being the responsible one trying to manage Catarina's chaos.
Okay, so another one charmed by her accidental kindness.
Yeah.
What about Alan Stewart, Jordo's twin?
Alan's the more energetic, almost Sunder type. He's very competitive, especially with Jordo. Initially, he sees Catarina as kind of clumsy and maybe even a rival.
But she wins him over, too. Shocker.
Yeah, her straightforwardness, her weird strength, like her obsession with farming, it breaks through his competitive defenses. He finds himself drawn to her unconventional nature. It conflicts with his rivalry with Jordo, which is fun to watch.
Right. And then there's Nicole Asgard, the quiet one.
Nicole, yeah. He's the cool, beautiful, seemingly emotionless type, very perceptive, very intelligent.
So how does Catarina get his attention?
Again, it's her sheer unexpectedness, I think. He's usually surrounded by people who admire him from afar, but Catarina just treats him normally. Maybe even a bit carelessly because she's so focused on her doom flags. Plus, he has this huge sister complex with Sophia. But even so, he develops quiet feelings for Catarina, too. He observes a lot, and his moments often carry emotional weight.
Okay, so that covers the main guys, but you said girls, too, like Mary Hunt. Wasn't she a rival in the game?
She was. Originally engaged to Alan and potentially a rival for his affections against the game's heroine. But here, Catarina's kindness and, honestly, her confidence, even if it's misplaced confidence about avoiding doom, completely wins Mary over.
Wins her over. Romantically.
Oh, yes. Mary falls hard for Catarina, and she is probably the most openly possessive of the entire group. Her jealousy of the male suitors is a massive source of comedy. She's very proactive in trying to keep Catarina to herself.
Wow, okay. That definitely changes the dynamic. And finally, Sophia Asgard, Nicole's sister. She was meant to be the heroine of the game, right?
That's right. Fortune lover's intended protagonist. Here, though, she's Catarina's close friend. She's very shy, sweet, loves reading romance novels.
Ah, so she and Catarina bond over books.
Exactly. They share that interest deeply. And there's this pretty strong hint that Sophia might actually be the reincarnation of Catarina's best friend from her past life in Japan.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it adds this whole other layer to their bond. It suggests these connections might transcend lifetimes.
Okay, so that's quite a cast. Why do you think these characters and their interactions work so well for viewers? What's the core appeal there?
Well, first, it's how Catarina changes them all. They aren't just following their game script, they react to her, and that gives them depth, unique backstories that emerge because she's there messing things up,
Right, they become more than just archetypes.
Exactly. And the reverse harem thing, including Mary and potentially Sophia, feels, more inclusive. It avoids some of the cattiness you sometimes see and focuses more on genuine affection regardless of gender. It feels fresh.
And you mentioned a found family vibe.
Definitely. Beyond just who likes Catarina romantically, there's a real sense that this group cares about each other. They've grown up together, they support each other, you believe in their friendships and connections.
That makes sense. It adds emotional grounding.
And there's genuine character growth, too. Many of them overcome personal issues or insecurities. often because Catarina, in her own weird way, accidentally helps them.
Okay, and we have to circle back to the comedy through Catarina's cluelessness. You said it's central.
It absolutely is. It's the engine, really. Almost every romantic advance, every serious confession, she misinterprets it. She thinks Jordo's flirting is a political maneuver, Keith's worry is just brotherly concern, Mary's clinginess is just strong friendship.
And the audience is in on the joke the whole time.
Completely. You see the hearts in their eyes, you hear the double meanings, and then you see Katarina's internal monologue going off on some tangent about planting potatoes or avoiding death flags. The gap between reality and her perception is where most of the laughs come from.
Which ties into the whole parody aspect again, how it plays with those otome tropes.
Right, like the villainous redemption idea. Usually the villainess has to actively try to be good. Katarina just sort of bumbles into being beloved because she's trying not to die.
She fails upwards, basically.
Kind of, yeah. And the idea that all routes lead to love. In the game, routes lead to one specific person's ending. Here, every route Katarina takes seems to just add another person to her fan club. The bad endings she's trying to avoid become romance triggers.
That's brilliant. And sidelining the original heroine, Sophia.
Another great subversion. The character who should be the center of the romantic universe is perfectly happy being Katarina's best friend and supporting character. It flips the script entirely. It shows you, the listener, how focusing on a different character can totally reframe a familiar story.
Yeah, the supposed main character isn't always the most interesting one.
Exactly. And the fact that there isn't one single winner in the romance plot, at least not definitively, that's also very non-standard for the genre. The ambiguity, the fact that this ensemble of affection continues, is part of its unique charm. It doesn't force a choice.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. My next life as a villainess. It's really this skillful mix, isn't it? Romance, comedy, slice of life, all filtered through this isekai parody lens.
Yeah, and powered by this incredibly dense but fundamentally kind protagonist who just charms everyone by accident while trying desperately to survive.
It really does show how taking familiar ideas, familiar tropes, and just twisting them slightly, looking at them from a new angle with engaging characters, can make something feel really fresh and fun.
Absolutely. It's a masterclass in affectionate parody and character-driven comedy.
So here's something for you, the listener, to maybe think about. How does playing with expectations like this, subverting the usual genre rules, actually make a story more engaging or enjoyable? And maybe you can think of other anime, books, or movies you've encountered that do something similar, take established formulas and turn them on their head in a way that really worked. It's interesting to consider how creators keep familiar genres feeling new.
Definitely food for thought.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.